I got a question. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, how much is this? I absolutely love this. There's been a guy come into a couple of our events, our Vette Syndicate events. I think his is a 69, red. I want to say he had side pipes, but I can't swear to it. But I love it. I love this. I love this car. I don't know if I'd want to drive it, but I would want to own it.
And I've had this car for about a year because I bought it and I thought I was going to keep it because I fell in love with it.
Yes.
Back in 1996, I got one of these and I wanted to keep it, but I needed money, so I sold it, and it was like $16,000 back in 1996. So I've always fell in love. We got this car about a year ago. I said, I'm going to keep that car.
Yes.
So I kept it, and then recently I bought something else. I said, I'm going to go ahead and
sell it.
Yeah, and it's a very cool car because it's got the deluxe interior.
It does. It's got the front back chrome bumpers. They still had it in 70. I love it.
70 is the most popular, highest priced car of the 68 to 72s because of the gas shortage.
Yeah, okay.
So they was the totally gas Iran-Contra thing from the Jimmy Carter era, and they stopped making cars. They started coming up with these restrictions back in the 70s, so that made the 70s more valuable of all the cars. Man, very cool car. I know you bounced around from the newer to the older because your mind just gravitated towards
I know,
that.
it did. It just, it pulled me over. It pulled me over. Golly, so beautiful. And I would love to carry more information on videos on these kind of cars, but unfortunately, people on YouTube don't care as much as I do.
Really? They don't care for the older ones, eh?
It doesn't seem that way when I post videos about them.
Like the later model cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
I guess because they're going to buy the new ones. They're not necessarily looking to buy this, even if they like them. They've been out forever.
These are more of a, not a daily driver.
Yeah,
they're going
this
to
is
be
nostalgia. You just keep it in your garage, and once in a while.
They do require a hell of a lot more maintenance than a regular late model car. Most of these late model cars, you can drive them every day, and they don't break down too often. This, you can only pretty much get it on the block, and something's going to happen to you.
I've heard.
They constantly need maintenance. You know, I took my daughter out in my 67 last summer.
Yeah.
And beginning of summer, I took her for a ride, and she was 5. She said, Dad, I want to go up with you today. Let's go ride the mid-year. I want to take the one with AC. And I said, you got it, girl. Let's go. Let's go. We took off. We got about 7 miles away from Corvette Warehouse. I turned on the AC, and bam, a black pile of smoke went into her eyes, and she couldn't see. We got to the gas station, and I looked down, and it was leaking antifreeze.
Oh, man.
Yep, so that's what you get when you get a 67 if you want to go drive it.
Look at it. These cars are older than us. You know, I'm 50, and there's things happening in me that are breaking in, you know, and so.
And these cars are only $4,000 brand new, and now they're $70, $80, $90, $100,000.
That's crazy.
And what's cool about this is my car. I've had this car for God, 15 years. Nice. I absolutely love this car. I bought this car when I had my first kid because I thought I'm going to buy a car with air conditioning that me and my kid can go out and enjoy and drive it and not sweat to death in the 105-degree Texas weather. And then years later, I was so fortunate to come across my Marina Blue, I ended up with the 327.
It's got the side
350 horse stick. Now this car does not have AC, so every time I go out driving in it, I get a workout.
You gotta
drive wear my workout clothes when I drive this car, right, Paul? When Paul takes this car, he puts on his shorts, his tank top, and his sandals because there's no AC. And if you put AC in it, you ruin the value.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, I know you said your followers aren't as impressed by these cars, but
but I am.
I grew up on these cars when I was a kid. These were on the car lots for sale when I was a kid because I grew up, and I was born in 72.
Right, same.
I was walking around the car lots when in 1976, 77, 78, and these were for sale.
Yes.
And my grandpa would take me, and he would go out and show me these cars, and we'd go to the different Chevrolet stores. You know, the T-Birds were still on the lots back then. And now, when's the last time you saw one of these for sale on a car lot?
Not even for sale here. And we're at a Corvette Warehouse. So.
When I was a kid, I said, when I'm older, I want to buy one of those. And they were literally $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 when I was a kid. And now they're 60, 70, 80 grand.
Crazy.
Amazing what's happened to them.
See, I love the history. And C3s are another, because, you know, again, you and I were born in the same year. The C3 is another one. That was the 78 pace car, the Indy pace car. That was like my dream. I mean, seeing that on the road.
What's unique about this car, this is my Uncle Bob's car. When I was a kid, like I told you, my dad and my grandpa, my uncle would take me out to look at cars, and we would go to all these car shows.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Bob was a Vietnam vet.
Oh, yeah.
And he had come back from Vietnam, and he has been involved, and he was an accountant of all things in Vietnam, in the Army Reserves, and got mobilized. Well, he bought this car in 1979. My Uncle Bob bought this car. My Uncle Bob's 82 years old now. He bought this car in 1979, And he bought this car for $10,000. And when I was a kid, I was sitting on the porch at home, and my Uncle Bob pulled up in this car. And I was blown away.
I bet.
And I said, I know what I want to do in my life. I know what I want to do. And I started saving my money at that time to buy cars and to buy my first Corvette. And that led to my 1979. I couldn't buy a $10,000 Uncle Bob car, but I bought a $2,500 Douglas car. And I wound up getting this car from my uncle about 5 or 6 years ago. My uncle had a stroke. He got older. He can't drive it anymore. And he came up to me and said, hey, I'll sell you my car what I paid for it.
No, my goodness. So he got a smoking deal. He kept it for I don't know how many decades.
Yeah, I got to buy it from what he paid for
Yeah.
it. If you look at the odometer on this car, what does that say?
Where are we at?
You're right
59. What does that say? 59,752?
Yep, that's my uncle. He bought it new. He put all those miles on that car. And when I was a little brat, I was 6 years old, sitting in that side over there, driving with him, watching him shift with the T-tops off, and I was blown away. And I said, man, I just sort of dedicated my life to learning about Corvettes, playing with Corvettes, tinkering with Corvettes. I went to every car show in Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, anywhere you could go just to play with these cars and touch them and tinker with them.
That's the problem. I don't feel like there's enough kids at car shows anymore. You know?
You don't see any kids. It's always guys with gray hair like me, you know?
New Balances and jean
shorts. There he is. Look, he's got right here. Where's the kid?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, and there's one other cool car I'd like to show you. This is a car that I've been dreaming about my whole life. This is a 61 Fuelie.
Love this.
And this is a very, very, very cool, unique car. And let me show you this if I can get in here and pop the hood. This car is a Fuelie. And you won't see many of these. They made two versions of them. They made the high horsepower and they made the low horsepower version. And the lower horsepower version, they made about, I think, 200 of them. The lower horsepower they made less. The higher horsepower they made more. They only made 1,600 of this particular one, and this option was like $1,000 back then.
Wow.
And now it makes them worth like 50 grand more.
That's crazy.
This is the 290 horse, a 330 horse, excuse me.
Okay, I was going to ask you,
I got to look it up because I got so many, it's hard to keep track of them over time. But I bought this from another Vietnam veteran, and this guy, Michael, who lives in Colleyville, I saw this car for sale on the side of the road years and years and years ago. And I was driving down the highway, and it said for sale. And I thought, who in the heck puts a freaking Fuelie out with a for sale sign on the highway?
Right.
And I called him, and he said, he started, made a connection with the guy because I was in the Operation Desert Storm, and he was a prisoner of war from Vietnam. He was a prisoner of war for 6 years.
Whoa.
And he came back from prisoner of war, got released. Richard Nixon actually helped get him out. And he had went and bought this car, and he had it ever since. And we had talked, and we made a connection, and started to get to know him a little bit. And a guy said to me one day, and he was older, he was about 80, and he said, come in here, I want to show you something, I want to show you something. And he takes me in his office of his house, and he's got this garage, and we couldn't drive it anymore because he got older. And he said, I want to show you something, kid, come in here, come in here, come in here. I went into his house, and in his office was pictures of him and Richard Nixon.
From when he got released?
Nixon had given him a Purple Heart. And he said, the best thing of my life, I got to meet Richard Nixon 6 times.
Goodness.
And I said, cool. And then he had all his bands from Vietnam.
Yes.
And he said, I reached out to all the people. They'd reach out to me and say, look, they gave me the band that people were rooting for me.
See,
and I said,
love
that's just amazing, man. So this car, I am going to die
keep forever.
with this car. Yes, I will not ever sell
My
that
dad
car.
was in Vietnam. He was a POW for like 30 days at one point, and I mean, he would sit there at night and he would just start pulling shrapnel out of his skin and stuff. I mean,
awful
just
story. And it's like you hear these stories, and the guy, and he's, he's coming back, and it's funny. Now that I said that, I got to look him up and make sure he's doing good.
Yeah.
I mean, he lives on a nice little ranch with a bunch of horses, and he had this car, and he couldn't drive it anymore. He's 80 and he couldn't drive it, and he hired right in, and I went for a ride, and I was driving with him on a Sunday afternoon, and it's funny because he's older, and he said, "Hey, do you want to go to the bank and get the money?"
Yeah, let's go on a horse. I said, jump on.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I said, how about tomorrow?
Right. Yeah. We could go today, but we're probably not going to be able to get much accomplished.
And I hope I get to see him again because I'm going to tell him that story. He said, remember you were driving me around? You said, hey, you want to come look at the car? This is an 04 commemorative Z06. and it's only got 23,000 miles.
Wow.
I believe they made 2,200 of them, though, color combination. The
Yeah, I got a
commemorative-
friend with this. Renee has this.
He does
same
have
one, I
he has
believe.
a Milan's blue.
I believe this is the exact same one he has. I
And
think
what
so.
was cool about the Le Mans is Chevy made the Le Mans blue color the commemorative to celebrate that they had won Le Mans the year before.
Yep.
And they came up with this color combination, and they made it in the convertible, the regular coupe, and the Z06.
Right.
In the Z06, they put these stripes on it down the middle.
You know, I'm a fan of stripes.
Me too. I like the
So-
stripes. And that car's only got 23,000 miles. I think.
Yeah, 23,345,
I
man.
think Phil sold this one.
Oh,
Phil sold
okay.
this one. Man, I guess we're fortunate. I had to show you all these cars that are sold, but it's
know.
actually cool just to show you and talk about them a little bit.
Absolutely.
And this is something I only get a couple of these a year. I think I get 1 or 2 of those a year. It's
And
just
I know
such a
you guys
cool
are moving.
car.
I'm looking forward to that. You know, the new location I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to.
we're moving to a building about 2 miles from here that's
Yeah.
got one big square that can hold all our cars in one area.
I mean,
Here
look
we-
at this. This place is, I mean, you know, obviously I've been here numerous times, but I just get, my mind is blown when I come in here and see so many cars and so much variety and see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you guys have it all. I love it.
And we're moving to a building that will be able to put all the cars in one building.
Yes.
Here we got 3 different suites where we got to go back and forth and run around. And we got them stuffed in like sardines in here.
Yeah. I've posted some videos
Well, I
about how
have-
close they were, and people, they're like, they blow up because people
But I
are
have an
freaking out.
addiction. I can't stop. My wife says that's a great addiction to have because you could be out drinking and carousing and getting in trouble. And
Amen.
instead, I am at Corvette Warehouse,
Yep.
upline, looking, calling customer, talking to people, trying to buy cars.
100%.
And I can't say no. I just love these cars. So I'll find a car and I say, man, that car needs me.
Yeah.
She needs me to bring her back to life. I got
Right.
it. Who else is going to do that to that
I
car?
know.
So I got to do it. So I get
We
this thing where
appreciate
if
it.
I get close and I can
Yeah.
make $1, I say, what the heck? We'll just get it.
That's right, man. It doesn't matter. The profit margin can be thin as long as we don't lose money. That obviously nobody
Yeah,
wants that.
exactly. All right,
Yeah.
and I don't know where to start, but this
Man,
here's an
this
05,
yellow is so
another
clean, though.
orange, Daytona Sunset
Yeah,
orange
another
with
Daytona Sunset.
66,000 miles. And this looks like she's got, those are those wheels you like, the regular alloy
Yeah.
wheels.
Oh yeah, love them.
And she has, let's see, this will be a 3LT automatic with the alloy wheels, the wheels that you
LT
like.
Auto.
Solid top.
And I like the tan interior on here. It's kind of a clay tan color. Very nice.
And
of
this
course,
is an
I'm a fan of
07.
yellow.
You can see this is a good example of a car that's been taken care of very well. An 07
Oh, my
yellow with
goodness.
111,000 miles.
Wow.
Bunch of miles on it. But
It
it
doesn't
look
look
at,
like
look
it.
at how the
It's so
person took
clean.
care of this car. The guy spent $1,500 and put
Yes.
the C7 headlights in.
I love
he
it.
put Grand Sport
Z06
wheels on
yeah,
it.
the Z06
Excuse me,
wheels.
Z06 wheels on it.
Yeah.
And this is a Z51 3LT. You can see they spent a bunch of money. They put the Pioneer head unit
Yeah.
in. He put the shifter boot. He's got 2-tone seats, and this was a factory ordered yellow on 2-tone red, so you'd have an override car.
Yes.
And she's got Z51.
I
Very
love this.
cool car, and priced real well because it's got a bunch of miles on 111,000
Yeah.
miles. And if you do have another thing to ask your followers, and that'd
Yeah.
be, what's the highest mileage Corvette they've ever had?
Absolutely.
I'd like to know because I personally have had one with 335,000 miles on it. I know you're gonna laugh and think that's just nuts. But I
Yes.
saw that car at a car show and the guy said, I've had this car since it was new.
Wow.
And I'm an insurance salesman and I drive a lot.
That
And
makes
it's got
sense.
3, and I would tell you that car would have passed for 50,000
Wow.
miles. And I saw the car and I said, is that 35,000? And it said 335,000
Golly,
miles.
I
That was
think
the highest
that's one of the
one I've ever
higher
had.
I've seen is 111 is probably the highest possibly that I've maybe seen. I know, what was the one out there, 124 though?
Yep, the 15 with 124.
Okay, so that's the highest I think I've ever personally seen.
Really? And again, for all the years, we only sell about 600 Corvettes a year, so we see all different shapes,
Yeah.
breeds, and sizes. And I get my friends that call me and say, hey, I got a good one for you. I think I got you beat. This one's
Yeah.
got 160. Do you want it? Do you want it? And it needs a lot of work. Are you willing to take on the challenge? But no, I just, I've
Golly.
seen them. I'd like to know what your highest mileage
Yeah.
Corvette you are. That's a good question to ask
Down in the
your
comments,
listeners.
let me know what the highest mileage you have seen. You know, Corvette, doesn't matter what generation. What's the highest mileage you've seen Leave it down in the comments.
And
We would
another
like to
question,
know.
did they have to rebuild the motor?
Okay, and was
That
it a
guy
rebuilt
did
motor?
not rebuild his
So
motor.
his was on the original motor.
It was on the original motor with 335, using
Interesting.
Mobil 1 every 3,000 miles. And I said, 3,000 miles? They go for like 7, 8, 9. He goes, nope, I want it to last forever.
Wow.
And he sold it because he was buying a C8. And I just
Oh,
got
wow.
335.
What was it, a C6?
It was a 99 Pewter
Okay.
on tan automatic with chrome wheels. And it had 335,000
That's
miles.
insane.
Yeah, very cool
That's just
car.
crazy to me, crazy.
This is an 09 Crystal Red with 70,000 miles. And this one is a fully loaded car. It's got 3LT, Z51. You can see the slided rotors.
Yep.
Chrome wheels, automatic, solid top. You can see the 3LT, so you got the shifter, you got the steering wheel controls. And over here, this is now, back in the day, this was the #1 ordered color combination. You haven't seen many of these because, like you told me, the generations have changed. People
Yeah.
don't want the traditional colors.
Yes.
But 20, 30 years ago, every freaking car we got was white on red.
Right, I know. I believe it. This one's white on red.
Yeah, white
'Cause
on
look
red.
at the lenses here.
Yep, they
Inside
got the lenses changed.
headlights. Wow.
But they had every single car in the old days with white on red, so this will be something that the demographic of people that are a little bit older would like
Yeah.
this color because they grew up. The first Corvette in 1953, they only made 300 of them, and every single one of them, you had one option: white on
White on
red.
red.
White on red.
So it really
was
wasn't an option. It was just what you get.
So that's a traditional Corvette color, but that's an
Man.
07 with 44,000 miles.
Wow.
And that's a beautiful car. It's got chrome wheels, it's got 2LT, solid top, and it's got an automatic transmission.
Beautiful.
This here is the same year model as that. This is an 08 Le Mans Blue, one of our good colors that does real well.
Yeah.
Le Mans Blue at 58,000 miles. And this is a 3LT glass top, automatic. It's got a Sony head unit, and it's also got the transparent top.
Yep. I really like that transparent top. I just don't know that in Texas weather, I don't know how if I can handle that because I'm sure the heat's still transferring.
It does. It's a little bit hotter. And it's cool.
Yeah.
It gives you it gives you like a half a convertible feel.
Yes.
Because the sun comes in. But the
Yes.
cool thing about them, you can swap them out. A lot
Right.
of people buy both.
Yes,
They'll
I would
call
want
and-
both tops.
Yeah, if you don't have it in stock, you can talk to one of the guys and they'll call you if we get one in, and they'll sell you one for $500,000 depending on what kind of condition it's
That's
in.
what I would want to do. I would want both because I would in the fall and in the spring and winter, but summertime, whoop.
It is a little
swapping.
warmer, but you get the feeling of being outside.
I
in it.
love that. I do
All
love
right.
it.
This is an 01 red on black convertible with 74,000 miles. And this has got a cool option. It's got the Grand Sport chrome wheels.
You know
can
what
see
else
they
I
look
like about
different.
this?
So they make the Grand Sport wheel, but they make it a little bit smaller
Yeah.
so that it fits on the car. And this car's got straight CD, electronic climate control, automatic transition, and then the sport seats. And the way you can tell they got sport
like
seats,
this.
they got a little hole here for the
Yeah.
headrest, and they got Corvette. The stock seats are just one solid plain
Yes.
with no perforated leather.
Interesting.
All right, and if you want an anniversary, we're the king. We got like 5 of these right now.
You got multiple here.
We got one with 18,000, 20,000, 21,000, 29,000,
Nice.
44,000 miles. I think we even got one with 138,000 miles, somewhere out there somewhere. But we got 5 of these things right now. This is an 03 anniversary with 21,000 miles. Again,
Got that
same
shale
thing as the one you
interior
looked at
and
over
all,
there.
yeah.
Exactly the same. And it has every single thing is the same on every single car. The
Yeah.
one we looked at earlier was a stick, and this one's an automatic.
And these wheels are considered bronze?
They are called, I believe they're called magnesium.
Okay.
Magnesium
Yeah.
colored.
I saw it one day on one of the websites, on your website back in the day.
All right, and this one here is an
Pewter.
01 Pewter with only 123,000 miles. Only 123.
Only 123.
Only 123. Pretty popular color. They don't make it anymore. They only made it in the C8s, and this car does need a little bit of tinkering. I think we got this on trade-in somewhere somehow, but I think it's cheap, and it's like
Yeah, 13.9.
13.9. Needs a little bit of love and a little tinkering.
Yeah, a little
but
TLC.
in time.
But it's
Here's
an
a-
01. I mean,
Yep, this is an 04 with 105,000 miles, 105,000 miles. And this one does have the heads up. You can see the little
look at that.
display there. It's got an aftermarket head unit. Got the electronic climate control, and it's also got the sports seats where you can stick your fingers in there, and got the Corvette emblem on it.
Ooh, what color is this?
They call that spiral gray. And they only made that in 2003 and 2004.
Very nice.
That's the only years they made that color. Wasn't very much produced. It was mostly ordered than back in the old days.
Yeah.
This one is cool because it's got the two-tone red interior. Kind of like a walk-ins gray, but it's got a lot more metallic in it.
Yeah. Reminds me a bit of shark gray.
Yeah. It does have that shark gray look to it. It's got the two-tone interior.
Ooh, I like that.
Two-tone burgundy, electronic climate control, aftermarket head unit, automatic transmission, and it's got the polished wheels.
Yep.
All right. Here's an 02 Mag Red with 103,000 miles.
That's another color I have. You know, I'm
Here's
sure
the
I see
stock
these. I
seat
just
we were
never know
talking
them.
about before.
Oh,
See the
right.
difference in
Okay,
the
where
seat?
you can't put your hand through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's more subtle. There's no perforated leather.
Doesn't say Corvette or anything like that.
And that's what they come with from the factory. You had to pay, I think it was $800 to get the sport seat from the factory.
Yeah, that definitely looks a lot better though.
This is more of a plain car. Doesn't have a lot of equipment. It doesn't have heads up. It doesn't have, that's a good
nice
thing.
base
See the climate
model.
control?
Yeah.
It's got regular climate control. That's manual,
yeah,
not digital.
exactly.
All right, and it's also what they did to dress up this car. They put the Z06 chrome
like
wheels on it
those.
to make it look a little bit newer. All right, here you got an 05 red convertible with 44,000 miles. And that's a very cool car. I'm a big fan of red, crystal red. This one is a 3LT navigation, automatic, and it's got a power top. That was an option back in the day. And of course, now that you learned your
there's got our
training of
XM
the
right
day,
here.
You got your XM satellite receiver.
Yeah, nice. If I only used XM, I use Spotify because you know I'm a techie.
All right,
I'd
this
like
is
this.
a 06 Le Mans Blue with 79,000 miles.
Yeah.
And it's a 2LT stick with tan interior. It's got a glass top, transparent
Got the
top.
aftermarket head unit on it.
And it's got the wheels that you like, the alloy wheels.
Yes.
Satin, not a lot of color. 05 yellow with 49,000 miles. And what's cool about this car, they put aftermarket wheels on it. They put a black wheel because that wasn't an option back in the day. And then they got it with the yellow
ring,
lip option. And you can take that off if you didn't care for it, but I personally like it. It kind of makes it unique. This here is a
Nice
2010 with some miles on it, but priced very accordingly. It's a 210 with 125 for $23,900, and it's got the 3LT navigation, automatic, power top, and it's got the chrome wheels.
Yep.
Cyber
gray.
This is the 09 Cyber Gray. You know, you're a big fan of the gray color.
Yeah.
Gray with two-tone interior. See the two-tone seats?
Now this one is the base seat, but it.
Yeah, they call this the two-tone seat.
Okay.
And it comes where they come with the different color. Yep. And then they'll give you the differentiator and the color combination and the embroidered seat. I think they charge you $300-400 for the embroidery.
I'm not surprised though.
And what's cool about this car, unique, is this is a very unique wheel. It's called the Hertz rental car wheel, and what that is. In 09, they made a Hertz rental car, and they only made about, I think it was 1,000 of them, and Hertz was the only one that could buy them. You couldn't buy them as the public. Hertz put them on the market, rented them, and then after so many miles, they had to sell them according to their GM contract.
Right.
And because when you want when people don't have. Right. So it makes it popular. So people started to go buy these Hertz wheels. This is a Hertz rental car wheel, so they started to manufacture the aftermarket version of it because it's different and it looks unique.
It is unique.
It is weird that you get a car that people want the Hertz rental car chrome wheel on it, and this has the Hertz rental car.
Let me know what you
wheel.
guys think down in the comments. Yay or nay on the wheel?
Yeah, I like
actually
them
really
both.
would like to know what people think of that.
If they like the differentiate in the wheel.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
And then our last one here is an 05 with 50,000 miles, and that's that Monterey red we had talked about. And they make 3 shades of red that year. They make the Precision Red, the Monterey Red, and the regular red, Torch Red. And the Precision Red is the least produced. There's only a couple hundred of those made.
Yeah, I've never
Magnetic
heard
Red
of
is
it.
the second most produced, and then third is Red, which has the most colors. And this is it's got Z51. You can tell by the cross-drilled rotors. It's a 3LT. It's an automatic, and it's got some cool stuff. It's got the carbon fiber little offset right here. That's an aftermarket product right there. And it's got a solid top. And you know how you looked over there, Jason, how you had your satellite radio on the convertible? That's the option for the coupe.
Yeah. I liked it better when it was just a shark fin. I thought that shark fin, like you'd see on a lot of vehicles, I thought that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, so people always ask, what is that?
Yeah.
That's
old
a satellite
school.
radio receiver. And back in 2005 when I was selling this, it was like the option to have because satellite radio had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't work as good as they did today, but you could listen to radio stations on the other side of the globe.
Yes.
Where today it's just common. It comes with it from the
I
factory
know.
for free.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming out, man. It's great to see you. I hope you and your listeners had a great experience today. This is a friend of mine, Mike, who grew up with this guy in Wisconsin.
And he likes BMX, so
He just walked in here
always a friend of mine.
And if you want to say goodbye to Paul,
Andy,
Phil.
and Phil. So if you guys ever come in here and you can see any one of these guys, they can help you. And you and I are going to be doing some videos, though. He's got a bunch of cars. We're going to be doing some videos. So that's going to do it for today's video. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Have a great week. Thanks for watching.